The right GPU can make a massive difference to your satisfaction and stress level with PC gaming. Outdated systems quickly fall behind, and this is noticeable when watching friends or streamers on their high-end systems. With the release of the Nvidia RTX 4060 and RTX 4060 Ti, we have two options for upgrades to bring our computers back to peak performance, but which one is better? In today's video, we're going to take a closer look at the RTX 4060 and the Ti alternative. We've added links to the product in the description so you can learn more and keep an eye on the prices. For now, we just want to go over the most important points and give our verdict. Keep watching to see how they square up against each other, as the side-by-side comparisons may surprise you. Let's start with the new Nvidia RTX 4060 and run through some of the key features that have gamers excited about trying this out. Nvidia does a great job of selling this as the perfect tool for an improved experience, and that's before we even get to the alternative RTX 4060 Ti version. One of the major features here is the architecture of the system. The RTX 4060 takes full advantage of Nvidia Ada-Lovelace architecture for a cutting-edge design. There is a lot to unpack within this GPU. The tech support in this 128-bit system is impressive. You're looking at a comprehensive package that brings you game-ready drivers, studio drivers, and a bunch of other useful tools. The system also has an 8th-gen encoder, 5th-gen decoder, and is primed for VR support. Smart Tech helps this Nvidia RTX 4060 shine against previous models. Another significant feature here is the use of AI to enhance the performance and make life a lot easier for gamers. The Nvidia DLSS 3 system speeds up the performance compared to previous models, allowing for a more effective process. On top of that, the system uses enhanced voice and video applications via RTX Video Super Resolution and Nvidia Broadcast. This might not sound like much to the average user, but little details like this show the greater capabilities of these new RTX models over their outdated alternatives. Now, we know that all of you avid gamers are keen to learn more about how these great features affect the performance for streaming and competitive gaming. As all our subscribers know, we are building the most valuable tech content possible on this channel. If you aren't subscribed yet, don't forget to sign up after this video so you can learn more about exciting new releases. Also, give us a like and share this with your friends so they can see how Nvidia can benefit them. One of the key features for gamers is the improved responsiveness of this new RTX model. For a start, the system uses the Nvidia Reflex low latency platform to create a smoother experience. The last thing we need when trying to solve a time-sensitive puzzle or beat a difficult boss is lag. This smoother look is also enhanced by improvements to the frame rate. The new 4th-gen Tensor cores and optical flow accelerator work hard in the background to ensure that you get higher quality frames per second. This can vary between titles because of the power required and other factors. Some games will see a greater enhancement than others. However, Nvidia states that this can more than double in some cases. Again, the impact of this will depend on how much you've paid attention to the frames per second and suffered in the past. If it's had you swearing at your PC, this upgrade could be just what you need. Another impressive upgrade with the new 4060 model is the realism in the graphics. The system has new dedicated ray tracing cores to help simulate real-world conditions a little better. This can have a surprising impact on the lighting in some games. To be honest, the sharp jump in brightness on some titles can be a little jarring to begin with. We've seen side-by-side Minecraft images with bright sunlight suddenly pouring into the buildings like divine intervention. It's a sharp contrast from the previous darker oppressive interiors. There is no doubt that other games with real-world scenarios and dramatic lighting will benefit even more. All of this is going to make a big difference for streamers. If you regularly stream video game sessions on your channel, you know that the viewer's experience is just as important as the player's experience. You need to be sure that the game will look great to all those watching and run as smoothly as possible. A darkly lit game with frustrating latency isn't going to be as engaging for viewers that crave instant satisfaction. This is especially true for anyone trying to do speed runs or beat levels within a fixed time frame. The improvements in the frame rate, responsiveness, and eye enhancements all come together to make a big difference. From there, the inclusion of the Nvidia encoder for live streaming is the cherry on the cake. What makes this launch all the more interesting for consumers is that there is also a 4060 Ti model on offer. Unsurprisingly, this version packs some serious punch in all the right areas, with all the same important features as the 4060 model. There are some slight differences in the specs, however. The Ti version has a boost clock of 2.54 GHz and 4352 CUDA cores compared with 2.46 GHz and 3072 cores on the standard 4060 model. Here, the improvements with the frames per second are undeniable. There are images on Nvidia's own website, which we've linked in the description box, that show the difference with the 4060 Ti model turned on. Warhammer Darktide goes from 55 frames per second without the feature enabled to 130 frames per second with it on. That's more than twice the rate for a dramatic change in the response time. Now, we do want to point something out here regarding the performance specs on the Nvidia website. You will see a lot of impressive-looking bar charts comparing before and after performances of leading games. This is typically a side-by-side for the 4060 Ti and 3060 Ti, which explains the big gaps. If you are upgrading straight from the 3060 Ti, it is clear that the 4060 is a massive upgrade. Because of all this, we're also looking at some small differences in the thermal and power specs. Both GPU options have a maximum GPU temperature of 194 degrees Fahrenheit or 90 degrees Celsius, so neither will suffer from overheating too easily. The difference comes in the power consumption. Idle power consumption is low in both models at 7 watts, but this increases to 11 watts and 13 watts for playback for the 4060 and 4060 Ti respectively. This increases again when we get to the average gaming power, with 110 watts for the 4060 and 140 watts for the 4060 Ti. Then there is the total graphics power of 115 watts for the 4060 and 165 watts for the 4060 Ti. The Ti version is clearly more power hungry, and the impact of this will depend on your system. If you think it is a big disadvantage, you might be better off with the RTX 4060. Another important difference is the memory size. The RTX 4060 version is 8 GB, which is perfectly fine for most needs. Yet, there are options with the 4060 Ti that give consumers greater control. It is possible to stick with the 8 GB and simply enjoy the other upgraded elements, or you can go much bigger with the 16 GB. It all depends on your needs as a gamer and streaming, and whether you can justify the extra cost. That brings us nicely to our final point. We're not going to go into specifics about the price of either the Nvidia RTX 4060 or 4060 Ti. The price listed at the time of creating this video could be out of date by now. The company could easily drop the cost once the hype dies down, and we don't know what deals third-party retailers might offer. What we do know is that the less powerful Nvidia 4060 is cheaper than the 4060 Ti. It will probably remain that way unless you come across a great deal somewhere. This means that age-old choice between the more affordable, less advanced product and the pricey, more effective one. So, this leaves us with two important questions. Which is the better product, and which should you get right now? There is no doubt that the Nvidia 4060 has a slightly higher standard in its overall performance. It takes all the best qualities of the GPU and puts a little more behind it to give gamers and streamers a competitive edge. This is also especially noticeable when comparing the performance of leading titles against the old 3060 Ti model. Anyone that makes the leap between the two will be pleasantly surprised. However, there is also a lot to gain by opting for the cheaper original 4060. The differences between this and the Ti version aren't substantial enough that this looks like the weaker model. It all depends on how serious you are about your gaming and/or streaming, how badly you need those alternative memory options, and how much money you're willing to invest. You essentially have two options here. You could go with the more affordable RTX 4060 and make the most of all it has to offer. This could also allow for an upgrade to the Ti model at a later date when prices drop. The alternative is to just go for it, invest in your system, and know that you have that slight advantage against your gamer friends. Don't forget that we've added product links in the description box to help you out. These can help you go over the specs in finer detail and keep you updated on any price changes. There's not much left to say other than we hope this video has been helpful and you end up with the perfect GPU for your needs. Drop us a comment below with your choice too. Do you think it's better to stick with the cheaper RTX 4060 or go bigger with the RTX 4060 Ti? Also, remember to give us a like and subscribe so we can keep making content for you. We look forward to hearing what you picked and we'll see you in the next video.